For the first time in 8 years, Mississippi State baseball heads to the College World Series Championship. By the grace of the March Madness gods and also 2 wins to close out the regular season, the Rebels once again are right back on the NCAA tournament bubble. State really focused on having a well-balanced offensive attack this season. That's where the Bulldogs have found so much of its success. Get this, 7 of the team's 9 wins coming when 4 Bulldogs are scoring in double figures. There were a lot of question marks surrounding the quarterback position for Starkville heading into the season. However, sophomore quarterback Trey Petty has silenced any of those questions. Heading into tonight, Petty currently over 700 passing yards, over 400 rushing yards, 14 total touchdowns, and not to mention he's the Yellow Jackets' leading rusher. When it comes to Ole Miss baseball, it's truly best to expect the unexpected. That's especially true if you thought the Rebels would get manhandled by the second-best team in the country and second-ranked Vanderbilt. Coach Yo even saying she didn't want to open their season against Belmont, but honestly, no better way to challenge your team than by opening the season against an NCAA tournament-worthy opponent. History is brewing for Alabama men's hoops. While the Crimson Tide is no stranger to SEC titles in football, basketball, on the other hand, is a different story. #1 recruiting class in the SEC, 9th nationally, bringing 2 5-stars in guard Jacoria Bracey as well as forward Madison Scott. What were you telling your recruits as well as Shakira of what you were planning to do to get them to take a chance on Ole Miss?
Yeah, I mean, they're some tough cookies, aren't they?
14th ranked Mississippi State women's basketball's 86-78 loss to Alabama came at the hands of the Bulldogs' very own defense. Although State would lead by as much as 12 in the first half, it was the second half where the Bulldogs' defense really struggled. You've heard the saying that slow and steady wins the race. After all, the tortoise does in fact end up beating the hare. That's how Ole Miss women's basketball head coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen has approached building her program at Ole Miss. Cameron Thomas from the C gets it to go, drains that. 2-point lead LSU. Second half, off the turnover, Ford Herbert Jones takes it all the way. The Air Jordan move for 2 more. Time has come for legendary Saints quarterback Drew Brees to call it a day on his 20-year career in the NFL. Kevin Graham at the plate. He came to mash some taters, launches this one, and got some beer showers in return. Rebels take a 3-1 lead. Under 8 remaining in the half, guard A.J. Lawson wide open. Drains the 3, South Carolina up 1. Next possession, Rebs. Schuler saying, hey, not so fast. He pulls up on the wing, knocks it down. Landshark defense was all over the Aggies, from a scoreless first half to a safety to an interception, a pick 6, and finally one final sack that ended the night for the Aggies. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin said how good the defense did after this one. Here's what he had to say.
It's hard to predict what's going to happen. So the defense stepped up.
Welcome back for our celebration here at Duty Noble Field. Joining me, former Mississippi State Bulldog, current Green Bay Packer, Elton Jenkins. How good is it for you to just be back here in this atmosphere right now?
Man, it feels good, like all the fans, the atmosphere, everybody here.
Ole Miss women's hoops first round matchup against Samford in the WNIT wasn't just any other game. This one was special. It was the Rebels' first postseason appearance in 4 seasons. However, the team would have to carry on without Ole Miss head coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen. Coach Yo testing positive for COVID-19 just last Sunday. Hail State hoops men have a consistency problem. One day the Dogs are upsetting ranked teams, and the next, State is losing to teams that sit in the bottom half of the SEC. State will make its 12th overall appearance in the College World Series today, beginning with a matchup to Texas. Making it to Omaha for the Dogs, however, is the expectation. Winning it all? That's something that's never been done by this team.
When you look back on this Ole Miss season, what are going to be some of the main things that you remember from it?
I will remember that Matt Corral was incredible for the entirety of the season, and honestly, in a lot of different situations, put the Rebels on his back when he really had to. And I think that's the sort of telltale sign of a great quarterback. This next game is one you're going to want to see. Starkville hosting Madison Central. A battle of the unbeatens, if you will. Early on for Mad Central, Robert Dumas Jr. gets the ball, finds a big hole, and gets a nice gain down inside Starkville territory. Later on, it's 1st and goal. Dumas Jr. gets it again, walks it in there.
Spin cycle.
Spin move.
Tutty.
Gets a 5-yard touchdown. Jags up 7-0. Mississippi State pitcher Annie Willis has secured her name in Bulldog history books. For only the 23rd time in school history, Willis tossed a no-hitter against Louisiana Tech on Saturday. Crazy enough, Willis says she didn't even realize she was in the process of doing it. The road to equity for women's college hoops hits another milestone. As of 2022, the women's NCAA tournament field will expand to include 68 teams, which means the women's big dance will officially be getting a first four. Now keep in mind, the men have had a first four for the last decade. At every Mississippi State baseball game, you can find Ron on the third base side holding this 15-pound bag of candy and distributing as much as he can to fans sitting around.